Welcome to Maths Guru channel. We're going to discuss the division of fractions. In our discussion on fraction, we said that the number at the top, that is the numerator, can also be called the dividend, and the number at the bottom, denominator, can also be called the divisor. All right, in division of fractions, we are going to term this whole fraction a dividend, or the numerator, and the number or the fractions that is going to be divided by as a divisor. So we have to take note of this. Before we move on, let's quickly discuss one concept here, and that is multiplicative inverse. Multiplicative inverse. We recall that the multiplicative identity is equal to 1. So the multiplicative inverse of any number is the number that you will multiply by that given number to give 1. For instance, if we have 2 over 23, what is the number that when we multiply 2 over 23 with, it will give us 1? In other words, what number do we have to multiply by 2 over 23 to give 1? The simple way of deducing this is simply by swapping the number we have in the fraction. By swapping this fraction, the number is simply 23 over 2. We take the denominator up as the numerator, and the numerator we change it to the denominator. And let's multiply this out and see. If we multiply it out, we're going to have 2 into 1, 2 into 1, 23 in 23, 1, 23 in 23, 1. And 1 times 1, 1, over 1 times 1, 1. And 1 divided by 1, we're going to have 1. So the multiplicative inverse of 2 over 23 is equal to 23 over 2. Now, we can simply deduce this quickly. If we have 5 over 11, what is the multiplicative inverse of 5 over 11? In other words, what can we multiply by 5 over 11 to give us the multiplicative identity, which is equal to 1? So we simply swap it. 11 over 5. Let's try and multiply these two fractions and see if it will give us 1. 5 over 11 multiplied by 11 over 5. 11 in 11, 1. 11 in 11, 1. 5 in 5, 1. 5 in 5, 1. 1 times 1, 1. 1 times 1, 1. Remember, multiplication is done directly. So 1 over 1 is equal to 1. Therefore, the multiplicative inverse of 5 over 11 is equal to 11 over 5. Is also termed as the reciprocal of that number, 5 over 11. So if you are asked what is the multiplicative inverse of 5 over 11, it is 11 over 5. What is the multiplicative inverse of 5 over 11? Is 11 over 5. And if you are asked what's the inverse, or what's the what do we call it? The reciprocal of 5 over 11 is, we say, is 11 over 5. So we are still saying the same thing. Multiplicative inverse or the reciprocal of that number. So let's quickly fix the reciprocal of these numbers given below. For this, we are going to have 5 over 3. This will be 9 over 4. This will be 23 over 14. This is going to be, remember, every whole number is over 1. So we make it over 1. And the inverse, multiplicative inverse, will be 1 over 5. This is going to be 5 over 1, which is the same thing as 5. This is going to be 22 over 1, which is still same thing as what? 22. Take note of this. Now, we have division here. What are we required to do whenever we're given question on division of fractions? Our expectation is, how do we make this dividend? Now, recall we say this whole fraction can be termed the dividend of the expressions we have now. So, how do we make this 1? Our attention is how to make the denominator 1 or the divisor 1. In order to make it 1, we are going to multiply it by its reciprocal or the multiplicative inverse. We are going to multiply this by the reciprocal or the multiplicative inverse. And when we multiply the denominator by the reciprocal, we have to multiply the numerator by the same number, the same reciprocal, so as not to alter the expression, to make it equivalent. So if we have, for instance, 2 over 23 to be divided by this number 6 over 46, our attention is to make this one 1. But recall that any number divided by 1 is the same number. So we have 5 over 1 equal to 5. 6 over 1. 6 over 1 equal to 6. 7 over 1 equal to 7. Anything over 1 is the same thing as that thing. So 2 over 23 over 1 is the same thing as 2 over 23. So our attention is going to be on how to make this 1. And to make this 1, we have to multiply this by the multiplicative inverse. So we are going to multiply this by the multiplicative inverse, but to make it equivalent, we have to also multiply the numerator by the multiplicative inverse. So we are going to have 2 over 23 multiplied by the multiplicative inverse of the divisor is what? 46 over 6. Divided by 6 over 46 multiplied by 46 over 6. Remember, we have to multiply both sides, the dividend and the divisor, by the reciprocal of the denominator, so as to make the denominator 1. So if we move on, for the dividend side, we're going to have 2 into 1, 2 in 6, 3. 23 in 23, 1. 23 in 46, we're going to have 2. Right? If we multiply this side out, we're going to have 1 times 2, which is 2, over 1 times 3 is going to give us 3. Divided by 6 in 6, 1. 6 in 6, 1. 46 in 46, 1. 46 in 46, 1. 1 times 1 1 over 1 times 1, 1. So we are going to have 2 over 3 divided by 1 is 1. And any number divided by 1 is the same number. If you pay attention to our discussion so far, we can deduce that what we'll simply do to any expression given to us in this form is to multiply the dividend by the multiplicative inverse of the divisor. Multiply whenever we have a division question like this. The simple way to approach it is just take the dividend 22 over 23 and multiply, change the division to multiplication, then reciprocate this. We are going to have 46 over 6. Whatever we're going to do the other side, we know that we are going to have 1. So there is no need bringing up that. So we deal with the numerator alone. So at this point, we can simply say anytime we have division between fractions or between numbers, we can change it to multiplication and take the multiplicative inverse of the divisor. Simple. So 2 over 23 multiplied by, change this one, swap it, 46 over 6. And 2 here, 1, 2 here, 3. 23 here, 1, 23 here, 2. 1 times 2 is equal to 2, and 1 times 3 is equal to 3. We are done with what we have to do here. Let's quickly go to the questions we have here. We have 5 questions to resolve in division here. So the first one says 2 over 5 divided by 3 over 4. To do this, remember what we just explained. We're going to have 2 over 5. We change our division to multiplication, and then we take the multiplicative inverse of the divisor, which is 4 over 3. There is no way we can simplify this. For that, we're going to have 2 times 4, which is equal to 8. And 5 times this, 5 times 3, we're going to have 15. Final answer. Now, the second question, we have 21 over 12 divided by 2 over 7. Just write the dividend, 21 over 12. Change the division sign to multiplication and swap this. Take the multiplicative inverse, 7 over 2. Correct. So at this point, we can now multiply out directly. 7 times 21, we're going to have 7, 4, that is 147. So we're going to have 147 over 12 times 2, we're going to have 24. Simple. So if we are required to put it in mixed fraction, we can move further to give the expression in mixed fraction. We know that 24 can go in 147 6 times. That is 144. Then a remainder of 3 over 24. This can still be put as 6 whole number. 3 in 3, 1. And then 3 in 24 is going to give us 8. So this will be our final answer. Then, number 3, we have 11 over 25 divided by 3 over 22 divided by 5 over 3. Okay, we're going to put it this way. We have to write the first dividend, 25. We change the division sign to multiplication, and anytime you change the division sign to multiplication sign, we swap our divisor. So it's going to become 22 over 3. Then we're going to change it again. Multiplication, so we swap it, 3/5. So when we multiply out this, because there is no number that can simplify that down. Okay, we have 3 in 3, 1, 3 in 3, 1. Is that okay? So we're going to have 11 times 22 to give us 242 over 25 times 5. We're going to have 125. So we can go further to express it in May's fraction. You can do that yourself and see what you will get. Now, question number 4. We first of all write the dividend over 11, change it to multiplication, swap it as usual, 5/4, change again to multiplication, swap it, 3/1. Correct. So we can multiply out directly. 9 times 5, 45. 45 times 3, we're going to have 135, right? 135. And then 11 times 4, 44 times 1, same 44. We can put this in mixed fraction as well. So try do that yourself. The last question we have here, we have the first dividend, 6/8. Change division sign to multiplication. We swap it, 17/14. Change again, swap the dividend, 3/34. Now, let's work on this. 2 here, 4. 2 here, 3. Right? 17 here, 1. 17 here, 2. Correct? Here again, there's no other place we can cut our numbers, so we can multiply out directly. 3 times 1 times 3, 3 times 1, 3 times 3, that is going to be 9. Then 4 times 14 is equal to 56. 56 times 2 is equal to 112. And that is our final answer. So, anytime, any day, we have division questions as this, all we do is to follow this procedure in resolving our question. Okay, for the sake of emphasis, we have to treat one other question. What if we have something like this? 6/8 divided by, let's say, 4. Remember, every whole number is over 1. Every whole number is over 1. So we can easily go the same way, to be 6/8 multiplied by 1/4. And 2 here, 3. 2 here, we're going to have 2. So 3 times 1 is equal to 3, and 8 times 2 is equal to 16. Thanks for watching Maths Guru's video. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and always comment so we will know the direction to go with you. Bless you. Have a wonderful day.